Alrighty, there we go. So that was disaster preparedness, backup recovery. I think Kyle did a pretty good job of giving an overview as to what strategies you guys should employ. One of the topics today that we really wanted to touch on, and I think this is probably one of the hottest topics around the more emerging technologies that are in the marketplace, is really communication and collaboration. And so in my opening remarks, I mentioned that folks are doing things like working on documents simultaneously with teams that are separated and geographically, or that they're looking at video conferencing solutions to save money on travel and things like that. So let's get a bit more into that. And so let me just give a quick overview as to what I'm going to cover. Some online collaboration platforms that I think everyone should be aware of, what those are about, and then just quickly video conferencing and online meetings for those of you who may not be doing that right now. So what exactly is an online collaboration platform? Does any takers? Anyone have a guess? No one's bold? Want to guess? It's not just video conferencing, which is what I think it's a good start. Any other?
It's like a system that makes communication a lot easier and
Okay.
connect to more than one source.
Okay, we're building. She said video conferencing. He said a system, which is good. Unified communications. You're in technology. Okay, because that's a buzzword. But pretty much what he's saying when he says unified communications is really think about all the things that you do: text, talk, email, voicemail, all those things, and sort of bringing those together. So, but actually, an online collaboration platform is really an integrated set of web-based applications, and unified comm is a part of that as well. And those combine email, document integration, document editing and storage, intranet sites, so like internal web portals for your company that you can share information with your employees, or things like your operational manual or anything like that. Instant messaging and other what we call groupware features. So anything that a team can work on together or folks can collaborate with together, that's what I consider an online collaboration platform. Now there may be some other names for it out there in the market, but I think this is a pretty good term. And so just a few quick examples as to what I mean. Google Apps is one of probably the most popular online collaboration platforms. And what Google Apps really is a combination of, like I said, web-based applications, mail, documents, calendaring, sites that really allow you as a business owner to really put everything in the same place, right? So what they offer is a platform whereby you can set up your domain. So if your domain is, I don't know, jakescookies.com or something like that, you can set up jakescookies.com to work with their system, so you can log into your email. Your email's hosted on Google's servers. Your documents you can store. And the great thing is you can create user accounts for each person in your company. So you can create a user account for your accountant or your administrative assistant or whomever. And that way, everything is in that one place. And as people leave your company or people join your company, it's really easy to just set up an additional profile. And they have immediate access to all of these things. Another top online collaboration platform, which recently launched this year in June, is really sort of Microsoft's answer to Google applications. And it's the Microsoft technologies that you're used to already. So if you use Microsoft Outlook and things like that, then they provide a very similar interface. And what's really cool about their platform, it includes Exchange, which is email and calendaring, which you can share within your company. Office web apps. So how many people here use Microsoft Word? Just by a quick show of hands or something like that. Great. Now, one of the challenges, particularly when you're on the go and you're moving around, is that you don't always have access to your particular computer with your Microsoft Office and your documents and things like that. So between Office web apps and Microsoft SharePoint, as I think Gable mentioned earlier, you can actually store your documents in one place. You can open a document and edit it very similarly to the way you do in Microsoft Word, but it's all online. It's all in the web browser. You don't need to have the software installed on that computer that you're on. So let's say you're off traveling and you hop onto a hotel's shared computer. You can get to your platform, you can get into your documents, and you can edit them very similarly to the way you would if you were sitting at your own computer. So that's one really cool aspect of Office 365. In addition to that, Microsoft has relaunched their product called Link, which is instant messaging, video conferencing. So as a team, let's say that you were out of town traveling and you had an employee here in town and you want to just have a quick web conference with that person. You could hop on, have a video conference. You could even share a document that you guys need to work on together and give that person control of the screen so that they can make some changes while you're talking about that document. So those are some of the really cool technologies that this provides. And another really cool advantage that I want to point out is that they now offer Microsoft Office as a subscription. So what's really cool about that, if you think about it, every 2 years or so, or maybe 3 years depending, Microsoft will release a new version of Microsoft Office. And you're sitting there, well, man, I have 2007, but these people have 2010. I'm not cool anymore, right? So what they're doing now is that they're allowing you to purchase it as a subscription. That way you pay every month for it, and when the new version comes out, you have immediate access to the new version. So you're not stuck waiting for features to come out. And from a cost standpoint, I think it makes sense because think about it. You're going to buy Microsoft Office for maybe $300-400 up front, all right? For $15 a month, they'll give you the same thing. And so by the time you hit $300-400 a month, they probably already released a new version. So you've paid for getting the new software by the time you get the new software. That's a good way to look at it. So I just want to mention one more platform, which is Zoho Apps, which is also another platform which offers essentially the same functionality. The great thing about this, as I mentioned before, it's integrated. So you can go to one portal, and from there you can get to all of these services. So why use an online collaboration platform? And I did touch on a number of the points that I wish to make here. It's centralized management. So the good thing is it's all in one place. If you need to add a user, remove a user, access your documents, get to that important piece of information, it's all in one location. Open your web browser, you go there. The other aspect of it is hosted. And Kyle talked about backup just a second ago. Well, because this is hosted, it's online, and the provider that gives you it, so either Google or Microsoft or Zoho, they're the ones who are responsible for actually backing up that information, making sure that it's secure. So that's one thing that you don't have to worry about. And it's online, so you can get to it from anywhere. In your office, at home, on the beach in Jamaica, wherever you find yourself, you can get to your information as long as you have internet. And then finally, it's affordable. In terms of the cost of the platforms that I just mentioned, you're looking at, on average, about $5 per user for the entry-level version, which gives you most of the core features. And it can get up to as much as about $42 a user, but that's usually for people that have very specific requirements. So those are some of the reasons why you might consider an online collaboration platform. Just a quick question, and if someone would be willing to volunteer, I'd really appreciate that. Has anyone here actually used any of these? Emilio, you have? Office 365? You want to give Emilio the mic for me, just for a second? Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. What are your thoughts on Office 365, and what do you think?
I mean, the biggest concern is it was down yesterday for 2.5 hours.
It was down yesterday for about 2.5 hours.
And there was nothing you can do. It's not like you can reboot your server and get back up. You were down. So
that's your biggest concern?
Well, I think anybody's concern is I can't send or receive emails, and I've got a client waiting for proposal, right? So, yeah, that is important. Now, the flip side of that is very inexpensive, easy to set up, access from anywhere. I can grab Manny's computer and be at my desk. So it's great. But it is on the cloud, and the one risk the cloud has is if it's not available, it's not available.
It's not available, correct. So let me just touch on what he said, and this is also a very important thing. I don't have a con slide here for a very specific reason. I wanted to talk about that. In terms of so there are pros to obviously having your application, like your platform, Google Apps or whatever, in the cloud. The disadvantage, obviously, is that you need internet to get to it. So if you're not at an internet connection, then you can't get to the documents that you've stored there. Now, some of these services do allow you to sync information between your computer and the service. So to the extent that you can do that, I strongly encourage that you do. And then Emilio mentioned another thing too, which is it's hosted by someone else. And just like, electricity isn't perfect, or, sometimes your water has to go out for maintenance or whatever the case is, sometimes these services do also suffer outages or downtime. Sometimes it's planned, so they might send you an email a day or so in advance to let you know, hey, between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, you won't be able to send any email. Or sometimes it's unplanned, just as we have emergencies in the real world. So that's one thing that you need to be cognizant of whenever you do decide to go with an online platform of any type, really. So just wanted to point that out. Anyone else? Does anyone else perhaps use any of this, any of the things I mentioned? What's your name? Gopi. Yeah. One second. Let me go. I think everyone should really hear this. I think this is very valuable for everyone to know as well. Go ahead.
Yeah. The cool thing about Google Docs is like more than one people can edit the same document at the same time, and you can like see the changes in real time. So that is one thing which I felt like Google is more reliable than Microsoft 365, because Office 365 does not allow you to like multiple people edit at the same time. I'm not sure whether it's like right now available, but I think Google has an advantage in that.
Okay, so I mean, I think that just like any other piece of software you select in your business, and Gopi, you made a really good point, which is that he feels that Google Apps provides a certain feature or functionality that Microsoft Office 365 doesn't offer. And so just like you select a solution for your business, there's always options. And each of these providers have their unique flavor of how they do what they do. And so what Gopi mentioned is that in Google Docs, you're actually able to edit a document simultaneously with someone else in real time. So for instance, Kyle could be typing on the bottom part of the page, I could be typing on the bottom part of the page, and while he's doing it, I'm seeing his changes appear. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Whereas Office 365 is really based on the more traditional Microsoft technologies, and so it doesn't offer that functionality. Their understanding of collaboration on a document is really so that it's in the same place. If you need to work on it, you can check it out, work on it, put it back, and then someone else can pick up from where you left off. So it's really just a different flavor, and I think that's very important for folks to know whenever they select the solutions. Always look at how some of those features might differ and how it might impact the way that you work specifically. I think that's one thing you should definitely consider. So moving on, don't want to take too much time on this topic, but I think this is also very important. So in terms of online meetings and video conferencing, I'm not so sure how many people are doing this, but everyone I'm sure has heard of Skype, right? You haven't? Oh, you have? Okay, she's really smiling because she probably uses it every day. But Skype, is the #1 consumer video collaboration tool. I mean, you can call your friend on half the other side of the planet, and before you know it, face-to-face or just audio, you're having a conversation. But what many people don't realize is that Skype actually has business features that they've rolled out within the last 1.5 to 2 years that really allow you to create user accounts for everyone in your company. So instead of your managing partner or your co-founder having their Skype be Big Sexy 23, as your username, you can actually create a more professional Skype account that you can control for your organization. So if someone is representing your company as an employee or as a vendor or whatever, then they have a controlled account whereby if they leave the company, you can disconnect it, right? So that way you can control your reputation and things like that. So Skype does offer that as a feature. More and more services like Skype, and I just wanted to mention Uvu because it's also an up-and-coming competitor in that same video conferencing space. Both of those companies are really allowing you to do HD video conferencing now. So it's high def. It's not the old choppy video conferencing that you might have seen many years ago. And so if you have an HD webcam in your laptop, and I think many Macs are starting to ship with those now, or you have an external video webcam that's HD, you can actually have a high definition video conference. One of the things that I also wanted to mention in regards to Skype for business in particular is that they do offer a really cool feature, and someone like Emilio could probably tell you this. If you have a modern phone system in your office, which is internet capable, you can actually use Skype to dial through that phone system. So let's say you're traveling out on the road, you're not in your office, and you need to make a phone call, but you don't want that client to know your cell phone number, or you don't want that client to think that you're not in the office. You can actually use Skype, connect to your phone system that's in the office, and make a phone call. The caller ID will show up just as if you were sitting in the office, so they're none the wiser. So those are some of the really cool features that they offer. And for teams, they also allow you to have video conferences with up to 10 people. So imagine having almost a real-time conversation with your team, even if you're not in the same location, that you can have with Skype, so or Uvu for that matter. The other component to the online, Yeah. Other component to online meetings and video conferencing, I wanted to mention these 3 solutions. GoToMeeting, Cisco WebEx, those are the biggest names in this space where you can set up an online meeting, you can schedule it, email it out to whoever needs to get to your meeting, and you can share your screen. So for the folks that are actually watching this presentation on their laptops as well, it's a very similar concept. You're sharing your screen so that other people can see it, and you can give a presentation or you can discuss something that you're working on. And these platforms allow you to do that. GoToMeeting and WebEx incorporate video conferencing. They also allow you to do things like polling of your meeting participants. So if you had a question that you wanted to ask, then you could ask that question in your meeting and have someone respond in a poll-like fashion, or even chat one-to-one during the meeting. So those are some of the really great advantages of that. Join Me is very new, and it's really just for desktop sharing. So this is why it was really easy and convenient today for you guys to use, because you didn't have to install any software or do anything like that. You just connected and you're plugged in. So that's pretty much all I have in terms of online meetings and video conferencing and collaboration tools that your business should be considering if you're not already doing so. So I wanted to ask just one quick question, and then maybe if you have any questions, I'll open up the floor. How do you guys feel about the idea of video conferencing for business? Have you done it? Do you love it? What are your thoughts? Give me something I can toss to someone else.
I'm a consultant. So
Go right ahead. What's your name?
Marisa Apollon.
Marisa, okay.
I do help consulting.
Okay.
And so I have a lot of clients also that hear about me from out of state. And normally I would do in-person consulting where I can see what they're doing, see what their lifestyle is like. But I have to do that over the phone. But it's so much better that you can see the person, they can see you, especially when they don't know you. They only heard about you word of mouth. So I actually consult face-to-face. And that it makes the person feel more comfortable and they can trust you more as well.
Okay, that's a very good point. FaceTime is very important. So how do you build that with someone who's out of state or another part of the world? And that's definitely how you do it. Two other things I actually want to mention in passing, by the way, is that there are actually a few platforms. Oh, you have a question? Sorry.
Well, I didn't have a question, but I can. In regards to Skype, when did they start doing, you can have 10 people to do the video conference?
Okay, so with Skype in particular, I think with just the normal Skype, if you just download it right now, you'll get up to 4, I think, people, right? And in order for you to get beyond 4, you have to purchase their Skype for Business. So they have a feature called Skype, I believe, Calling Manager or Skype Manager. And once you purchase in that service, then you can add additional capacity to your Skype conferences. Right?
Okay, I just didn't know that was video. I'm into video conferencing, so I'm always looking at whatever the new thing is coming on board.
Right.
So I haven't saw that, but in addition to what she said, I also work for the school board, and so we do video conferencing all the time, and we do audio conference. And one of the things that we have found out, although we have a solution for each one, people like to do video conferencing instead of audio, and one of the reasons why, although you might have 60 people, is because when you're doing an audio conference, you cannot see the expression of people's faces, so you don't know whether or not you're really getting the message across, whereas with the video, you can see those expressions. The other thing that I wanted to say, too, is that when we're dealing with the enterprise and those businesses that have been around that do the H323, which, is the old way, you need to really think about what type of solution you're going to do and who are your people you're going to contact with. Right. Because if it's a business that's still doing the H323, you need a solution that's going to be able to integrate the Skype, to the 264 to the H323. So that's one of the things you need to think about when you're looking at that is who is your clientele, what type of businesses you're going to communicate with, and it's the solution that you're going to get now, is it going to integrate with their solution if they have an older system? Yes. Agreed.
What was your name? I'm very sorry. Joy? Okay, and Joy, what do you do, out of curiosity?
I just started my business, which is called Joy Technology and Learning.
Okay. So educational technology?
Yeah.
Educational technology?
Well, educational and then going out into the enterprise with showing businesses the
Okay, there's another gentleman here that I believe is also in the video conferencing. There he goes. And you raised a very interesting point. I'm sure someone was like, what's H323 and what's H264? Okay, those are really just video teleconferencing standards and whatnot that or some of those are older. The H323 is an older one. H264 is a more modern codec, if you will, that's being used for that. So very important piece. I mean, what you think of when you think of teleconferencing normally is some person who goes out to a specific room or something. There's this big video conferencing system, and it's a special room dedicated for that. Some of those systems are pretty old, and they're not quite connected, or what we call interoperable with some of the newer systems. Now that being said, two things here is that those video conferencing systems, those that you install in a conference room or in a meeting room, those have come down in price a lot over the recent years because of a lot of competition. And then more and more what you're starting to see is integration between hardware video conferencing systems, like those that are set up in rooms, with software platforms like Skype or like Uvu or any of those platforms as well. So you're starting to see a lot more of that in the marketplace. And so if you're someone who may want to have a video conferencing system in your room or your conference room or something like that, then you can connect that with Skype, and that's really powerful because it gives you options. Okay? I think that's about it. That's all I have for this portion of it. Does anyone have any questions in regards to anything I mentioned? Did I lose anyone along the way? You got it? Is it something you think you might want to do now? You feel comfortable? Okay, yes and no?
Someone sent me an email and said, Skype me. So, it's good to hear.
Okay, wonderful. How are we doing on time, Kyle? We're doing well? Okay, alrighty. So, does anyone have an agenda I can borrow really quickly? Okay, I'm getting a lot of people pulling. Okay, not a problem. Yeah.